My goodness. My liberal, my liberal brony brothers. Oh my God. Is Trump running a third term? He appears to be hinting at it, and he's exploring the possibility. He's looking for loopholes. Now, I admire Trump's ability to find loopholes in things. That's kind of he's actually pretty impressive. The fact that the guy has gone bankrupt a few times and then suddenly turns basically nothing into a billion. Yeah, did he fuck up a few times before getting to a billion? Absolutely. Am I a Trump fanboy still? Absolutely, dude. Like, here's the thing, man. I appreciate Trump because he tries. He really has a vision for America. He does want to see America to be great again, and who doesn't? Look, we all want to see. We would love to see a Trump third term. It would get our mussies wet. I know. I'm going to be eating in front of you guys while talking about Trump. I ate a little bit of pizza, but what I'm also doing is I'm going to have some nachos. You heard me. I'm going to eat some nachos in front of you guys. You know what's even better? I got motherfucking Diablo sauce, baby. Can't see me. Can't see me. Can't see me. Can't see me. Can't see these tits. Make these tits grow big, dude. These tits are getting big, by the way. These man boobs. Ooh, I'm getting buff. But yeah, dude, mukbang for Trump's third term. Dude, when I heard about that, I was like, I don't think he's serious. Just like Donald Trump, here's the thing. The man has a knack for trash talk and sarcasm. The problem is everybody takes everything he says as a matter of fact, and they shouldn't. It's stupid if they do it. Tish Lee says, I don't have a problem with it at all. Nachos sound great. Yeah, I love eating in front of my people. Thank you guys. Everybody's my people. Whether you vote liberal, whether you vote Republican, you're all my people deep down. You all my N-words. Anyway, random guy on YouTube who's also my biological stepson is saying, Dad, I'm going to be eating some nachos in front of you guys real quick. Hold on. I got my plate, and I'm about to disintegrate. All right, folks, I'm almost back. I'm almost back. Woo! I got the sun chips on the plate. I got the nachos coming up here soon. Hold on. I got the cheese coming up. Got it all. Oh, there they are. right, people. All right. We're here to celebrate Trump's running for a third term. We don't know if this is actually really going to happen. Trump is hinting at it, but obviously we all know. I think the Constitution prohibits it, but but it would be interesting. Now, some are hypothesizing that Trump could try to get J.D. Vance elected, so that way Trump can basically, tell J.D. Vance what to do, which is honestly an interesting idea. There's always a loophole for everything, man. You know who they need to figure out the loopholes? They need to hire Coach Belichick. Needs to be hired. By the way, I got my Diablo sauce right here. And Coach Belichick definitely needs to be hired. That is for sure. Give me one moment, though. I'm still putting on my other sauces here. Oh, God, yeah. Like, if there's one thing I love about Taco Bell, it's their fucking Diablo sauce, man. It is the creme de la creme. It is the goat. Oh, my God, I love their fucking sauce. Like, there is nothing better. I mean, there's things better than Diablo sauce, obviously, but I don't know what it is. Taco Bell, when it comes to their Diablo sauce, just does it fucking right. And, yeah. I am... If they started selling Diablo sauce at, in stores, which, honestly, I could probably look it up. I bet I could probably buy their Diablo sauce in a can for, like, a good deal. All right, so Tish said, okay, the next word to be hip. All right, so Tish says, hi, wonderful people. Tim Smith says, I want Trump to fill all three of my terms at the same time. Tim! It's good to see you on here, partner. But yeah, Tim wants he wants Trump to fill all three of Tim Smith's terms. So at the same time, he is but one man. But maybe, if you're lucky, him and J.D. Vance can tag team your terms, Tim Smith. Tish says, Trumpy bear. But dude, Tim, you are fucking killing me, man. You're killing me. In a good way. All right, we got my chips. Let's roll. Oh my goodness. Let me take off the jacket. All right. Let's see here. Oh, dude, my boy Nate Dogg is in the house. Okay, cool. Tentacle president filling all our terms. Dude, this is I should have named this this particular live stream Trump anime. Just Trump hentai is what I should have called this. Which, honestly, this is straight up gonna be. I would love to draw. This is okay. I can't say this with a straight face, but I was about ready to say, I want to draw some Trump hentai, dude. All right, or I want somebody. I'm sure people have drawn. There are several mega manga drawers out there who have drawn a bunch of mega manga and have made hentai of Trump making out, I should say, with J.D. Vance or something like that, which is what we all of us mega fanboys are really thinking about deep down. We're really just wanting Trump to just make out with all the dudes in his cabinet. That's what we really want. We're really looking for. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, look at this. Oh, this is juicy. Ah. So Trump is legitimately hinting at a third term, which I don't know how that. Look, I love Trump, but I do believe in the 2-term presidential limit. We don't want a king, and I love the guy. I definitely would vote for Vance, JD Vance, for 2028. I'm down for that. I like JD Vance. I think he's a smart dude. But yeah, other than that, no, I just Trump's getting. Look, Trump's already. This is going to be Trump's final hurrah. All right, he's going to do what he can to try to restore the country, and I'm all for it. I don't know what the result's going to be. It could be chaos, but we'll see. We will see. Now, Nathan says, "What are you doing, step president?" Oh God, no. Oh man. Oh, I got stuck while writing legislation, Mr. President. Mr. Step President. Oh, Step President, my ink ran out. I got stuck while trying to get more ink in my pen. Oh, man. Nathan said you'll never need to vote again. That is true. Trump's trying to get rid of that thing in the Constitution about the 2-term limit. That's funny. I bet there is a loophole. I feel like somehow there's a loophole to make it to where Trump could be like in a 3rd term. I would laugh if he found it. Knowing him and knowing Daddy Elon, I'm sure Daddy Elon's looking for a loophole right now as we speak. The idea of a 3rd term, though, is making a lot of people, like a lot of hardcore liberals, heads explode. Like, they don't, that's like their worst nightmare. They're already mad that Trump is here. They're already pissed. Like, straight up, they're like, God damn it. But here's what's going to happen. Look, there's not going to be a Trump 3rd term. There better not be. I'm down for Vance 2028, though. By the way, I'd rather have Vance in my pants than Walls on my balls, all right? I'm all about it. Let's see. But Nathan, you're right. We will never have to vote again if we'll just have Trump the whole time. We'll just clone Donald Trump every year, every 4 years. Let's see. Tish Lay says, I do love the fact that JD Vance is a Marine. I would vote for Vance for president. Did you see the video showing Biden eating with the Marines versus Vance eating with? Well, first off, Vance was actually in the military. So, like, I think Vance has a little more camaraderie with with military members. You know, I believe he would. So that makes sense. And yeah, Biden eating with anybody is a cringeworthy moment. I will say that. So, me eating is by the way, me eating with anybody is a cringeworthy moment. So just saying. Me and Biden are the same dude, basically. I'm Biden's long lost son, somehow. Tim Smith says, you can't rhyme stray bee pants without JD Vance. Hashtag you decide 2028. Thank you, Tim. I don't know what to say on that. You can't rhyme stray bee pants. Tim, dude, you are a fountain of good shit, dude. You're a fountain. I'm glazing Tim a little too much right now. I glazed Tim a little too much. I also glazed my boy Nathan a little too much. I feel like, well, I don't glaze Nathan enough. Let's see. Nate Dogg says Democrats just need to run Obama again, and he'll shut the 3rd term idea down. I would love to see, honestly, if they did remove the 3rd term thing from, if they, however they would do it. I don't know how you would do it, but if they found a way to remove it, I would actually be entertained by Trump versus Obama. I would be actually, I'd be okay with that. Actually, I actually don't know who would win that. Because I felt like, well, I don't know, Obama's getting just as old as anybody around, but I feel like he still has enough clout with the Democrat Party that Barack could bring Democrats back potentially. I wouldn't vote for Obama because I'm not a big fan of him personally, but I think a lot of people and this is an unpopular opinion, but I think people probably would vote for Obama if he ran for a third term against Trump. I think a lot of Democrats would come back to the party. Me personally though, I'd vote for Trump Daddy. That's for sure, but it would be fun to watch those debates. Straight up. Like, it would be very, very interesting to watch those debates. I would pay some good money to see. I would just pay good money to see that in general, even if they're not running. Just see Obama debate Trump. I don't know. Put them in a boxing ring together, have them debate. That'd be entertaining. I'd be down. Michael Donaldson says, "Where's the poll?" Oh, actually, that's a good idea. Let's let the people decide. I will let you, my sexually frustrated people, decide the outcome of this third term running, all right? This is a good hypothetical, all right? This is a good poll. This is a good idea for a poll. This is actually fun. I like this hypothetical. I live for this is the best hypothetical scenario of all time. One of the best. It's the greatest. There's no other better. Let's see. All right. Trump versus Obama for a third term. Who wins? All right. We're going to put Barack Obama and Donald Trump. This is the poll to end all polls. Trump versus Obama for a third term. Who wins? All right, we got 2 votes. Damn, dude, people could not be quicker to the trigger on that. 2 votes already for this. 2 votes, people saying Donald Trump. This is Donald Trump versus Barack Obama, you guys, for a third term. It's a good hypothetical, man. Who would people want? I do love going over hypotheticals, though. Let's see. Michael Donaldson says, "Where's the poll?" I got the poll. Yeah, okay, I already read that. Ultrafire says, "Yo, Mikey boy, yo, Ultrafire, my boy." G-Dog. Trump is the master debater, says Tish. He is. Ultrafire says, "Can't run a third term even if they wanted to. No kings allowed." LOL. Yeah, honestly, like, I mean, if the people still wanted him, like, if the people still voted for him, I mean, I still think it's a bad... Here's the thing. Maybe there should be a 3-term limit. I don't think anybody's considered that. You know, we have the 2-term, but what about just a 3-term limit? We might propose that as a revision. And it'd be interesting. Tishley says Trump, Trump, Trump. We got 5 votes in, by the way, and all 5 votes say Donald Trump would win in a third term. For Trump versus Obama, Trump would win. Trump's winning so far in a landslide, so we got 5 votes. Nobody's voting for Obama. That's actually surprising. I actually thought there would be some detractors in this particular live feed, but it appears that people are really gay for Trump right now. Hell yeah. And I'm all for it, man. I want more gays for Trump, dude. mm. Mm. I need some paper towels real quick. Cause hold on. Yeah, 3 terms I think's relatively good. Breaking news. Hooters has filed for bankruptcy. What? Impossible. That's crazy. That is insane. That sounds fantastic. 3 terms. Yep. And then breaking, man charged, now facing 20 years in prison for destroying Tesla dealership in Loveland, Colorado. What? Destroyed the whole fucking thing? I gotta look that up. I'm gonna get some towels. All right. Give me 1 second. Oh, we'll make a little mini sandwich here. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Ooh. All right. I gotta look this up, man. Loveland, Colorado, huh? I'm looking this up. Tesla dealership. So you said Loveland, Colorado? Okay, hold on. Now, was that a dealership in Rome? I'm just kind of confused by that. Here's the thing, you know, all these I want to just say to all the vandals, people vandalizing all these Teslas, you're really doing the opposite. First off, you're making Elon and Trump more popular. And you're making people hate the left even more. So the more vandalism that happens, the more you're just going to have more detractors. I wasn't going to vote Democrat at all. Never will. Not ever again. I just can't. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to vote Republican every time either. I do believe in third parties. And if there's a good third party alternative, I will be more than open. But for right now, the party of common sense appears to be the Republican Party. That's my opinion. We're going to have a lot of people detracting from that, and I'm totally fine with it. Just don't try to vandalize my Tesla. I don't actually have a Tesla. But if I did, I would want you to stay away from it. Stay the fuck away from my damn Tesla. My fictional Tesla that I don't own. Yeah, we don't have any Tesla dealerships here in Coos Bay or North Bend, but I don't think we're not big enough, honestly, to have a Tesla dealership. But I would love to see, like, used Teslas on a car lot, dude. That'd be sick. Hold on. All right. So Tim Smith is saying it happened March 7th. Okay. So they basically found the guy. Like, that's crazy. That's wild to me, man. Some of this vandalism shit's really pissing me off. Like, it needs to stop. Ultra Fire says third parties dilute the vote. Nope. We need people to take third parties seriously. We need to stop with I think the two-party system's ruining America. We've created an us versus them mentality, and that's not right. Look at, we should still give a shit about people, even if they don't think like us. We should still care about them. Listen to them. You know, should we do everything that anybody tells us to do? No. We just still stand our ground, have our own beliefs. But, you know, it's sad that it's becoming an us versus them sort of debate. I don't want it to be that way. I'd rather it be, I love the whole concept of a third party. You know, vote for who you believe in, you know? Shouldn't be, you know, politics has become a team sport, unfortunately. It's been like, you know, this team versus this team, that sort of thing. It's kind of sad. But that's okay. This is so good. Tish says we care, but we are sane in their... Hey, maybe some people are crazy. I don't know. I've met surprisingly fairly sane people who are still technically liberal. Even though Bill Maher frustrates me, Bill Maher is surprisingly, in my opinion, still liberal. He's a real classic liberal. You know, what the Democrat Party has become, it's become kind of disgusting. It's become more authoritarian than liberal. You know, liberals used to care about free speech. Now they just want to shut everybody up who opposes their viewpoint. And I'm not for that. That's one of the reasons why I don't vote liberal. They just don't, they believe in too much centralized federal government. Don't like that. I don't like centralized government at all. I don't believe that people in Washington, D.C. really give two shits about my community or my state. And I think that's kind of the way we need to see it. You know, we got to realize that more power needs to be in the hands of the state. You know, states need to figure out their shit. Bill Maher is going to have dinner with Trump at the White House, believe it or not. Yeah. I think it's great. I think, you know, even though Bill Maher definitely still has Trump derangement syndrome, it's good that people with opposite viewpoints are actually talking to each other. I guess you could say I had Biden derangement syndrome. I took one look at Biden and I was like, ugh. I was really just kind of creeped out by Biden. I knew he was a bad president, but also I was like, something about him kind of gave me like the heebie-jeebies, you know? Yeah. You can kind of, this sounds kind of crazy, but you can sort of tell how good a parent is by how they raise their kids. And if you think about it, think about it this way. Trump's kids are pretty well adjusted, right? You know, I don't think any of them have had really a serious criminal record. But you look at like Joe Biden's children. The only good one out of Joe Biden's kids was Beau Biden. And I feel like he tried to be the best person he could be because he knew his dad was a sleazeball. And then Hunter Biden was just like, oh, I want to be a sleazeball like my dad, so I'm going to do as much coke and fuck shit up. And see, he knew he could get away with it, and he did. So, what I'm trying to get at is that Trump's kids were raised pretty well. Because Trump, believe it or not, isn't a piece of shit. Like, he's not that bad of a guy. Like, he's actually a good dad. Does he treat women like objects? Probably. That's not the best quality. My grandpa, my Mexican grandpa, treated women like objects. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm still not a fan of that. But You know, it's different strokes for different folks. You know, different beliefs for different queefs. You know, what I'm trying to say is, Biden is a legit creep. Like, and so is Trump. He's a little sleazy. Trump's a little sleazy. Don't get me wrong. He definitely has a sleazy grifter streak. You know, he's not perfect. But if I were to choose between him or Biden, it's Trump any day of the week. Any day of the week, Trump daddy. Kamala Harris versus Trump, I'm voting for Trump. So here's to a third term. I hope you run, Donald. If you I don't know how it would work, to be honest. Ooh. Oh, so much good cheese. Look at that. Look at that fucking thing. Oh, shove it in my mouth. So Ultra Fire says, and yeah, Tishley says, yes, Biden was creepy. Absolutely. Ultra Fire says, so is the stock market going to crash or not? Hold on. I don't know. I mean, in the short term, sure. In the long term, nah. I honestly, I think what you have to worry about crashing is not the stock market. You need to be more concerned about the value of the dollar. One of the reasons why I don't hold on to that much cash and try to put as much of it into assets in my brokerage is because I do believe the dollar is going to crumble very hard. And I don't think we're going to be the reserve currency for very much longer. We're reaching the end of our reserve currency license in a lot of ways. And I think the best way to prepare for that is to make sure you're invested in lots and lots of fucking assets. As many assets as you can. I'm preferably into real estate investment trusts because international and domestic. But yeah, very much so. That's how I roll. That's how I do it. Tishley says exactly 100, but he still includes his ex-wife to family events and respects them as a children's mother. Absolutely. That's great. Trump's a good dude. Like, I don't think he's that. I don't think he's got some issues. Granted, the man's got a few issues, but overall, I think his heart is surprisingly in the right place. And I think the mainstream media has taken so much time to dehumanize Trump, to make him seem like Satan or a Nazi, that people saw through it. I saw through it. I've watched some Trump interviews. I've read books by him. And to be honest, he's not as bad as everybody says he is. He's not. He's honestly, like, he's not perfect. Yeah. Does he sometimes talk out his ass? Sure. But I like him as an alternative to whatever the Democrats are promoting, because fuck that. The Democrats also are just too socialist for me. They've become the party of socialism and communism. Basically, they're the poster children for collectivism. And I hate collectivism because where collectivism proceeds, shit happens. It's not compatible. Most collectivist ideas, by the way, are not compatible on a governmental level. You cannot implement communism or socialism on a governmental level. The problem is too many power-hungry communists, power-hungry socialists, power-hungry anybody, really, will take advantage of the group and totally fuck shit up. That's why socialism and communism don't work. That's why you see all these societies that have implemented these ideas crumble to the ground. And yeah. Now, I do believe in social safety nets, absolutely. But I do believe socialism and communism are like hard liquor. You only want to have a shot or two. After that, just kind of tone down a bit. All right. Ultra Fire says, we got fucked when Nixon took us off the gold standard. Yes. But with every action, you have to find a way to react appropriately, right? So for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. You have to react accordingly. So the reason the rich get richer and the poor get poorer is because the rich believe that cash is a liability. Whereas poor people and middle-class people believe that cash is an asset. The truth is, cash is good. You need cash, obviously, to buy things. But people underestimate how long cash will maintain its natural value. I should say not natural value, but its perceived value. It has a perception of value. That's what's scary. And the thing about cash that people don't realize is that once we lose our reserve currency status, whenever that happens, we don't know, it'll be sudden. You're going to regret not being in actual assets. And what do I mean by actual assets? I'm talking about stocks. I'm talking about bonds, sort of. Bonds are not a good one, actually. I think it's good to be in bonds. By the way, none of this is financial advice, by the way, just as a heads up. I think it's good to be in bonds. I think it's good to be in stocks. I think I'm primarily in stocks because, one, stocks are pretty damn inflation proof. So even though the dollar lost its value rapidly, these would still be very valuable companies regardless of the status of the dollar. What you want are real hard assets, good assets, and not just stocks, but gold, silver, you name it, man. Any sort of asset class that has natural value. Gold and silver have natural value. They don't produce anything. They don't actually do anything, but they do have the ability to keep up with inflation because they're naturally more valuable than what the dollar could ever be. And you can kind of figure out how poorly the dollar is doing based on how well gold is doing. So that kind of gives you a better idea. So sometimes, like, looking at gold prices, if gold's going up, man, the dollar's kind of losing its touch. Another thing is stocks are just great. I think stocks people should be in. Look, you're owning pieces of companies. Like, I don't know how else to say it. You are owning a piece of a company when you buy one share of any company. When you buy a share of an ETF, you're buying a fund that has a basket full of companies within it. It's so simple, and I want to really hammer that home to people. I want to hammer it home. It's good to be in the market. And look, my philosophy is not. I legitimately practice what I preach, and I'm very transparent about this. 20% of my portfolio is swing traded. I have specific ETFs in my portfolio that I swing trade to give the portfolio a little more money. That's good. That helps. And then I take that extra profit and I put it into long-term investments, like individual stocks and individual ETFs that I know I'm going to hold forever. And then there's like 3 ETFs that I have in my portfolio that I purposely swing trade, and that's all I do with them. I think swing trading's fun, though. Ultrafire says, yeah, exactly. Tishley says he's old school tough, though, too. I love President Trump. Mega. Big Daddy is United States Patriot. Let's see. Tim Smith says, hard assets is the name of my OnlyFans account, says Tim Smith. That would be an incredible name, by the way. For I would I would subscribe to that OnlyFans. That should be the name. That should honestly be the name of my OnlyFans account. Where So you guys, I was thinking about doing financial memberships. I know I said I would never take money out of your guys' pocket, but however, I decided there would be something I could do. So I was thinking about starting a membership tier. And in the membership tier, every video will have me will have me shirtless, right? In this YouTube membership tier, completely shirtless. And I just talk about how great crypto is, and I just start pouring baby oil on myself while I'm talking about the greatness of crypto. And then I talk about how P. Diddy's misunderstood. So I was thinking if I do a channel membership where not, only some of these videos, by the way, would be behind a paywall, but these videos would basically be me giving shitty financial insight, by the way, talking about crypto while my shirt is off, while I'm squirting baby oil on my chest. That would be the membership pricing that you would be getting. So I was thinking about doing $5 memberships for the channel, and then you guys get to see me shirtless and shiny with baby oil on my body. Just saying. And then that way I don't have to do OnlyFans. I still want to do OnlyFans though. I'm a sick person. Tish says, I love hearing your financial opinions and advice. It's not advice, just to let you know, Tish. So none of it's financial advice. None of it. I just want to make that very, very clear. It's financial thoughts and opinions, financial education, but definitely not financial advice. Talk to a financial advisor. I encourage that all the time. Ultrafire says, I only invest in VOO. Absolutely. S&P 500, baby. It's a good one. I still think, me personally, though, I would feel insecure just being in the VOO. I'd want to make sure that I have some exposure to international companies. I would personally, at least, if I were in your shoes, I would look up the VXUS, which is basically the Vanguard, basically everything except for the US fund, which holds like quite a few shares, not shares. Sorry, it has quite a few holdings of different companies in it. So it's a way for you to expose yourself to international companies while at the same time being exposed to the 500 best companies in the US. So that would be one way you could do it. So you would have the VXUS for international exposure, and then you would have the VOO for the S&P 500 exposure. That's just my personal thoughts on it. That's all. Oh boy. But yeah, honestly, Ultrafire, at least you're investing, man. VOO is great. Solid choice, my brother. My brony brother. I'm way too diversified, but I like it that way. I like to spread out my risk like I spread my cheeks. Tim Smith says, Ric Flair, woo! Ric Flair in retirement, VOO, woo! Oh, man, let's see. Ultrafire says, lol, Tim. Dude, Tim's on fire tonight, man. Tim is on fire tonight, bro. Tish Lay says, you're going OFans now? I've had an OnlyFans for a while. I don't really do much on there, so I haven't checked it in a while. So I definitely need to. I might use OnlyFans the way that people use Twitter. I might just start tweeting on OnlyFans and just call it good. Give my professional opinions on OnlyFans. That's the new Twitter. Let's see. Ultrafire says, "Oh man, that's all you, bro. LOL." You don't want to subscribe to me on OnlyFans? What the fuck? You guys are supposed to be my simps, but now you acting like my pimps. All right, so pissed. Anyway, Mr. Nate Dog says I'd buy that for $1. Oh, my YouTube membership. Honestly, if they allow for $1 a month, I'd do it. Like, because I don't want to I don't want, like, if the minimum is $5 a month, I could not ethically do that to my people. Not only to my friends, but also I couldn't do that to my family. I couldn't do that to my friends. I couldn't do that to my family. I couldn't even do it to my simp subscribers. You guys are my bronies, all right? My brony brothers, my brony sisters. All right? My Fogel brother. I don't know. What are we saying here? What are we saying here? But yeah, no, just be lots of baby oil. Honestly, baby oil for $1, it would pay for the baby oil. $1. If I had, let's see, if I had 100,000 memberships for $1 a piece, we could assume that YouTube would probably take a pretty fair chunk of this dollar subscription. So I'd probably only end up seeing like 50 cents, maybe 40 cents of that dollar. And then I'd be taxed on that dollar. So we'll see how this figures out. Let's see. Tish says striking advice. It's not advice. It's misguided beliefs on my end. Let's see. Nate Dog says Mike financially advises us to seek out financial advice. No, look, here's the thing. You should always talk to a financial advisor. I have to say that legally, even though I think financial advisors are fucking bad these days. You're better off just studying. Here's the thing. Even though I legally have to say talk to a financial advisor, me personally, I've never talked to a financial advisor in my fucking life. I've read investment books. I've read the works of Warren Buffett. Basically, I've read the papers Charlie Munger's put out. Ray Dalio. I've studied a lot of the great ones, and Jack Bogle, studied him. And what I concluded is I kind of combined all of their philosophies into my own unique investment philosophy. So really, none of my investing philosophy is even remotely original. It's all basically stemmed and stitched together, different ideas from different great investors. And I took the best aspects of their investing philosophies and tried to stitch them as finely as I could into my own personal investment philosophy. And it felt pretty creative, actually, but it's still not fully original, because I am, as Isaac Newton once said, I am but standing on the shoulders of giants. And that is what I am. I am just standing on the shoulders of giants. People who do better than me. These people invested way better than I could ever imagine. But you know what? They had to make a lot of mistakes along the way, and I'm fortunate. How fortunate am I to be able to study these guys and be 36 and on the right track? You know, some of these guys didn't even get on the right track until like their mid 40s. Like, it's crazy. And so thanks to their wisdom, man, I honestly couldn't have done it without the wisdom of a lot of, not only intelligent dudes, but very thoughtful, just very innovative dudes. And I stand on the shoulders of giants. They are my mentors. I've never met them in my life, but damn, it would be sick if I could. Tishley says, iron sharpens iron. Hell yeah. Hells to the yeah. Ultra Fire says, do you ever listen to Robert Kiyosaki? I love Robert Kiyosaki, but man, I'll tell you what, he actually pisses me off a little bit, because just like Daddy Donald Trump, they're both very gay for Bitcoin, and it's depressing, because while they're both very intelligent dudes, Donald Trump and Robert Kiyosaki, their love of Bitcoin makes my pee-pee go down so hard. And yeah, I said pee-pee. Sue me. But it makes my wiener go down very, very hard, because there's no intrinsic value in crypto at all. So it makes it very easy to bet against. I love betting against crypto. Like, I'll bet against all you boys out there. All you boys. Hell yeah. Give me all your crypto. Oh, yeah. Uh, Tish Lee says, I think you would be a great financial advisor. I think I would too, but I would not want to do it for a living. I mean, I would like to do this show for a living. And even though I'm not a financial advisor, I do have some interesting philosophies on investing that I think could benefit people. That I think, if people look up these philosophies and honestly come up with your own philosophies too. I mean, you're just as innovative as anybody else. You just, when it comes to investing, it is really just a game of creativity and delayed gratification. As a combination of the two, you got to be very creative on one hand, and then you got to find out, who's done it better than you. And it takes a lot to admit that. For instance, the way that I got better at software development was I looked at code that was better written than mine. I looked at C++ code. I looked at, whether it's PHP, JavaScript, you name it, Java. I looked at code. I looked at software that people were developing and learned from their genius, basically. I learned from their genius, and I learned how to write better code, cleaner code, be more, just be a better programmer in general. So, which is really exciting. And I enjoy programming really as a hobby. Software development is a bit of a hobby of mine, but it's a fun one. I try not to, I try to implement software on my website, which I do kind of actually have a new piece of software I put on there that I'm going to make publicly available. It's a to-do list. It's very cheesy, very corny. It's very simple. What I was going to try to do with the to-do list was actually make it to where everybody's to-do lists were publicly available so people could copy each other's. So people could kind of copy other people's to-do lists, be like, what's this person's habits, but it would be all anonymous. It'd be like an anonymous to-do list community. So basically you go on there, you create your personal to-do list, and then when you're done with that to-do list, I plan on putting a save button on there, which is going to be kind of funny. So you could save that to-do list, and it'll write to a CSV spreadsheet that will be accessible to anybody who wants to access it. And then it just keeps creating a new line in the CSV file, and it's going to be written in, all the algorithm's going to be done in PHP basically, just because all the web apps that I do are all developed right into WordPress, which is kind of fun. I love developing WordPress plugins. It's very entertaining. Yeah, overall, I can't wait to have it implement. I think it's going to be, because I haven't seen a to-do list like that at all, where the to-do list is just publicly available. People can see what how other people plan out their day, And I think the idea is the to-do list has to have at least I'd probably say at the bare minimum 5 entries, and I think maybe a maximum. Well, maybe there should be no max to it, but it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting. Like I said, still don't know how I'm going to implement it. I think what I'll do is either I will write it to a CSV file, or I might just, for every one that's saved, no, it'd be easier if it was all planted on one file. Well, is it? Hold on. You guys are having a bit of a programming conundrum, because if it's all on separate files, that makes it to where one file isn't bloated. But if every entry is on one single text file, you'd still have to have some sort of loop that would have to go through each and every single individual file. I'm sorry, I'm brainstorming in front of you guys. It's very entertaining. I love brainstorming ideas. I'm throwing paint at the wall right now. I'm always throwing paint at the wall. But hold on. Gotta throw paint. One moment. Oh, I haven't even checked the poll. Hold on. Let's see how the poll's doing. Wow, there's still only 5 votes. So Trump versus Obama for a third term. Who wins? Let me just make sure I refresh that page. Make sure it's. I haven't even checked the poll. What I'm looking at is accurate. Yeah, what I'm looking at is accurate. Holy shit. 100% for Donald Trump. Holy crap. But yeah, overall, I went off on a bit of a tangent. Sorry about that, folks. I do enjoy talking a little bit about programming. But yeah, overall, Trump, I think I would, as much as I would love to see Trump personally, if it was legal within the Constitution, yeah, I'd be down for a third term for Trump. Do I want him to be the king? No, but I do want him to deregulate the federal government, which honestly is within a lot of his power. At the executive level, you can basically demolish a lot of unnecessary federal stuff. So he's accomplished a lot, and he's not even at the 100-day mark yet. This is a historical presidency we're seeing, you guys. Whether people realize it or not. Ah. Oh, man. Ultra Fire says hopefully he defunds some of the alphabet agents. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Tish Lee says I'm down for a Trump. I'm down for it too. I think I would love to see a Trump third term. In my fantasies, I would love to see it. I know that it's probably a bad idea. Look, as much as I love Trump, the man's getting older, and this I could say would be his last hurrah. And he's look, he assumes he's only going to have the 4 years, but he's really working hard to try to get things done quickly. And I think it's for the better. I mean, everybody who voted for Trump knew that he was going to deregulate the federal government. He talked about it all the time. This is what we voted for. This is what we want. If you voted for Trump and you didn't realize it, that's kind of on you. Because we all knew he was going to defund the federal government. That was one of his goals. But yeah, I like him over the alternative. I would not have wanted Kamala Harris. No. That's just bad, dude. Bad news. It's fake news. All right, you guys, I'm probably not going to be on here too much longer. But if anybody's got any final comments they'd like to say before I head out, I'll read them off, and I'll try to answer them at least. Tish Lee says J.D. Vance will be good. I love that Marco Rubio is there. I really love his entire cabinet. He's got a really good cabinet, a lot of smart people around him. And that's the one thing about Trump. He is humble enough to admit he's not the smartest guy in the room. He does admit that. But he's great at making decisions. That's the one thing I will say about that's the one thing I will say that I love about Donald Trump. He does make decisions. Is it always the right decision? No. You can never always make the right decision if you're going to make tons of decisions. Sometimes you will fail. That happens. That's the choice. That's what happens when you try. But people, I'm telling you, I would rather have a guy who tries and really tries and has a vision for America, whether you believe in it or not. I do believe in the whole idea of make America great again. And I think whether you think that his mission is a failure, he's doing exactly what I wanted him to do. He's doing exactly what I've been talking about this whole time. Deregulate the federal government, reduce the federal government, and and put more power back in the hands of the states. First off, closing the Department of Education was fucking awesome. I don't care what anybody says. First off, I mean it when I say this. Our kids, the Department of Education's been around since the era of Jimmy Carter, because Jimmy Carter put it in place. What is the Department of Education done? Kids are no smarter and no more educated than they've ever been. It can be argued that because the Department of Education is in the federal level, it's actually making things worse for schools. You know what I mean? I think it's good to put this the idea, the whole idea of education into the hands of the states. So put it in the hands of the states. I'm all for it, man. And if anybody thinks that's crazy, all right. I think it makes sense to me. Every state should be responsible for their own curriculum. Kids were doing shitty on the standardized tests anyway. We weren't missing much. So. Oh man, I got a lot of dividends coming in. Oh my god, dividends. Oh, all these juicy dividends are like, they're jizzing on my pants. You guys want me to read off my dividends? I'm going to show you guys my dividends. I'm going to show you guys all these dividends. Oh my god. You guys ready to jizz with me? Yeah, okay. All right, you guys gonna... All right, get your wangs out. Get your mussies out, you guys. You guys are about ready to whiz in your pants. All right. So I just now... Schwab Fundamental U.S. Large... Is it large cap? Hold on. I think it's large cap, yeah. The FNDX. Oh, yeah, 11-cent dividend. A lot of these I own just a share of, by the way, so these dividends are going to be tiny. But I own one share of a lot of different ETFs, so you're going to see very, very tiny dividends here. But yeah, like this one's 14 cents, SCHY, SCHX. I have 34 shares of that one. That's the large cap Schwab one. That's pretty sexy. $2.27. Oh, I just came. And then let's see what else we got here. Got 3 cents for the SCHG. See the main buy right ETF at 7 cents. Hell yeah. 26 cents for the first true value line dividend ETF. LTC Properties, we got 19 cents. Hell yeah. Global X, Dow 30, covered call and growth. That one's a covered call ETF. That one's 10 cents. Look at these. Oh my God, these dividends. Oh, my mussy is a waterfall right now, you guys. Okay, that's all I'm going to do, though. I just basically pleasured myself in front of the camera for you guys. Nate Dogg says it's not about the size. It's about how you reinvest them. Absolutely, my brony brother. It is true. And that's the thing, man. I own like so many different individual ETFs. Why do I do it? Because one, I like getting dividends at different times. Because if I concentrated all my wealth into one, maybe a handful of ETFs, I'd only be getting dividends at different times during each quarter. I get a dividend basically every trading day. Every day that trading is available, for the most part, I get at least one dividend a day. One, at the bare minimum. Usually, for instance, today I got a ton because I get a lot of them that, some of them are monthly, by the way. I have some monthly covered call ETFs that actually pay me pretty handsomely. I got a lot of bond ETFs. Some bond ETFs will actually pay you monthly. I can't remember the whole list of those, but if you look them up, I'm pretty sure you'll find out what that is. I just love consistent income from whatever investments I have. I prefer stocks, though. Stock index, like when I say stocks, I mean like ETFs that hold stocks. I also love individual stocks, you name it. Nate Dogg says lizard brain likes rewards. Absolutely, dude. That's why the old saying goes, human beings need incentives. The dividend is the incentive to be a long-term holder and for you to be a long-term owner. So yeah, lizard brain, dude, my lizard brain needs it, dude. First off, just to let you know, not only do I have a lizard brain, I am one of the lizard people. All right. I am one of the lizard people, just like Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, just kidding. But I'm going into Alex Jones territory. The globalists and the lizard people, the really actually hurts my voice. Hurts my throat. When Alex Jones talks, it kind of sounds like this. They're turning the freaking frogs gay. But it's like, yeah, absolutely. Nathan hit it spot on, dude. The lizard brain likes the rewards. You need the rewards. One of the reasons why a lot of people cash out of their 401ks early when they shouldn't is because they're not seeing the rewards come in. The thing about 401ks is I don't think there's a lot of visibility. I think people can access their 401ks a little better than what they used to. But honestly, that's the thing. 401ks, Roth IRAs, I will say that there's a lack of involvement in your investments. And I will say I prefer to be very involved in my investments. That's one of the reasons why I don't actually have a Roth IRA. I just have basically two brokerage accounts I primarily use. That's Robinhood and Schwab. And I just invest mainly because I'm afraid of holding money. I'm also afraid of spending money recklessly. I do have some fears. But a lot of look, I'm not really that afraid of spending money recklessly. If I was, I wouldn't buy certain items. But I will say this, though. I'm more interested in assets than I am liabilities. And I do feel that cash can be a liability, considering, hold on, my camera's getting a little foggy. There we go. Sometimes cash can be a liability, in my opinion. And look, I love investing in stocks because they're producing something, they're doing something, and you get to be an owner of that. Like when I look at my portfolio and I see my shares of Coca-Cola, the first thought to myself is, damn, it's so cool. I get to live in a day and age where I get to own part of the Coca-Cola company, even though it's a so small, very tiny amount of that company, by the way, but you're still an owner. That's the point. You are still an owner. You even have a voice, by the way, in shareholder voting. If you own at least, I think, one share or more of any company that you're invested in. Now, the only downfall is if you have an ETF, you're technically not able to, if I remember this right, if you have an ETF with tons of different companies, you are technically an owner of those companies, but not in the shareholder sense. It's really weird. I can't remember how it works, and I will admit I have a little bit of a knowledge gap to that. But that's why I always say talk to a financial advisor, because there are holes in my knowledge sometimes. But other than that, man, it's fun shit. But yeah, I love the dividends. I always call them, just like Strongman Personal Finance says, he calls them the dividends. But he's not a big, my boy Strongman is not a big fan of the dividend culture that's on YouTube. I get it. I just love dividends because it's nice to get a reward. I mean, you're basically getting whatever profits the company's making, distributes a certain amount of those profits to the shareholders. I think that's pretty cool. And if a company is proven that it can do that time and time again, then it's worth having that company in your portfolio straight up. So it's a win-win situation. It's a win-win situation. Oh. I gotta shake my tits and then shake my ass. You better watch out. I'm gonna cut you with glass. I sound like such a, what's the term? A wig. No, I sound like such a chode though. I gotta stop trying to be a rapper. It's not a good call. Not a very good call. You guys think I could be the greatest rapper in the US of A? Does anybody believe that I can? I think my boy Nate Dogg, my homie, I think he can rap. I think deep down my boy can rap. Or at the bare minimum, he could at least, sing boy band songs. That's what I think, at the bare minimum. But I think rapping is in his arsenal. That's my belief. That's my goddamn belief. And me, I just sing butt metal. That's all I do. I just know I'm just James Blunt sexual. I sing a lot of James Blunt and I sing a lot of Incubus. It's the only stuff I know how to sing properly. And Creed, along with a tinge of Nickelback. But I will always sing Incubus. Hell yeah. Also, don't forget, Nathan's probably may not be in this chat at the moment, but he was earlier. I don't know if he still is, but if there's one person who never forgets the black dildos, the Axe body spray in the GameCube, and the Incubus CDs along with the Dave Matthews CDs, it's Nathan. And for that, I salute my man. I salute it. By the way, if you guys have never looked up Derek Comedy before, I just want to give a shout out to Derek Comedy. Was one of the most brilliant YouTube channels of all time. Also has our boy Donald Glover. And and damn, he was funny as shit, dude. He's still pretty good, but early Donald Glover on YouTube, man, you can't beat it. I'm just gonna let you guys know right now, you cannot beat early motherfucking Donald Glover. Shit was good. So look up Derek Comedy when you guys got a moment. It's a fucking classic. All right, real quick, I'm going to close out the poll. We didn't get any more votes. So we had 5 votes very quickly. I will admit I appreciate that. And all of them were for Donald Trump. Nobody voted for Barack Obama. Shocking. But I will close the poll at 5 votes. But yeah. Overall, those are the totals. The poll is rigged. You rigged the poll. You rigged the poll. But yeah, overall, make sure you guys listen to a lot of Incubus, play a lot of GameCube, buy loads of Axe body spray, and if you do get black dildos, doesn't hurt to spray them with some Axe body spray. Just saying. Make them smell better. I'm not suggesting you guys do that, by the way. For liability purposes. Just saying. Tishley says, continue the poll on your videos. Well, I already ended it, but maybe on my next live video, I'll try throwing that poll back out there and see how many people vote on it. But I like hearing people's opinions. It's fun. My mussy gets wet when I hear people's opinions. My mussy gets dry no matter what. But sometimes I can't help it when my mussy's dry. I just can't help it. I'm just that kind of guy. All right. I'll catch you all later. To everybody who participated, Tim Smith, my boy Nate Dogg, Tish, appreciate your participation. And let's see. Oh, wait a minute. Nate Dogg is saying karaoke stream. All right. I'll do this one dedicated to my boy Nate Dogg. Hold on, I gotta look up the lyrics. It's I'm not gonna be playing the background music, so this is gonna be very awkward, and I don't give a shit. Um, oh, hold on, give me a second. This is like our classic song, by the way. This is like, I would say, if there was a romantic song that Nathan and I have, it's definitely this song. I think Billy would also say this is all of our romantic songs, but it's Dig by Incubus. We all have a weakness, but some of ours are easy to identify. Look me in the eye and ask for forgiveness. We'll make a pact to never speak that word again. Yes, you are my friend. We all have something that digs at us. At least we dig each other. So when weakness turns my ego up, I know you'll count on me. Oh, no, you'll count on the me from yesterday. If I turn into a llama, dig me up from under what is covering the better part of me. Sing this song. Remind me that we'll always have each other when everything else is gone. No. Anyway, I don't know if I first off, I had too much hot sauce. My throat's a little dry at the moment, but I wanted to get a little bit of Dig by Incubus out. That's from my boy Nate Dogg. But yeah, honestly, a karaoke live stream would be pretty stoked, pretty tight. One of these times, though, I will say it would be cool to do a karaoke live stream where I try to invite people on to just sing whatever they want to sing. Like, I could use StreamYard to get tons of people on webcam doing the thing on the StreamYard. That'd be pretty tight. But yeah, I'm a little bit tired at the moment. Got to clean up a little bit. Just kind of getting rid of a couple things, just kind of minimizing a little bit. Real quick before I go, I will say to my audience that as much as I like my job, there recently 2 people got fired from my job. I don't know who those people are, and even if I did, I wouldn't say, because I respect people's privacy. But it's sadly enough, you know, I'm lucky because I earned my spot on the team I'm on, but it's disheartening because, and look, even if I did get fired from the job, I'm lucky enough to where I have other opportunities. I could be a delivery driver for 8 hours a day, and I'd be fine with it, actually. But the thing is, I just feel bad for those people who actually got canned. Like, I felt like everybody on my team, contributes a lot. And even if somebody's a little bit slower, you don't just kick them to the curb. All right? That pisses me the shit off because I know everybody puts their best effort. I could tell. I've seen people's work. I may not know all their stats, but so seeing 2 people get canned was really disheartening. So I don't also know the safety of the position that I'm in at this point because, even though my performance has been really good, it's like, who's to say that maybe I'm not next, So I think there's a little bit of paranoia I need to have. Not like super paranoia, but I've been wanting to focus more on the channel and also on doing DoorDash and stuff like that. And so you guys might see me live streaming a little bit more often. It doesn't mean I got canned or anything by the way. It just means that I need to kind of, as much as I love doing the job that I do, I actually do enjoy it. I will admit, I don't enjoy answering to managers. I don't mind helping customers, though. Totally fine with that. Because it's like you're helping them, you're getting their job done, they feel good, you feel good, job's done, right? Um, but Tish says that sucks. You carries, you're a good guy. I don't know. Sometimes I don't always feel like a good guy. I feel a little guilty because I've been one of the biggest detractors, in my opinion, on my team. Like as far as when I say detraction, I mean like in the sense of I'm a little more willful, a little more outspoken, probably a little more annoying to my management. But luckily, my stats were good enough. You know, I do work my ass off. I'm not gonna lie. When I go into work, I work my ass off. My stats are good, but at the same time, it's just like I just don't know how long I can. You know, like I said, I could get fired at some point. Don't know when that'll be. I'm not gonna fret over it though. You know, before I had been fretting over it. You know, like what would I do if I didn't? You know, I got options. I've got a lot of experience, but luckily, I gotta stop saying luckily because, you know, I've done the best I can, and yeah, but like if they, I hope they don't fire anybody else. That's kind of the thing because like the team's already small that I'm on. Just to let you guys know, the team that I work on is small, and we kind of can't really, in my opinion, afford to lose too many people because if we lose too many people, we're gonna lack coverage. We need the coverage, man. You know, so I actually ended up deciding to take lots of vacation time because I have a concert I'm coming up, and you know stuff like that, and I don't know. Hey, by the way, tomorrow's April Fool's Day. Just gonna put that out there. I will probably put out a joke stream at some point tomorrow. That would be fun to do a joke stream. Um, I'm trying to think. What do you guys think? If anybody's still in the chat, what do you guys think I should name the joke stream? Maybe think something like along the lines of like maybe I could do like go into prison with Diddy. Uh, you know, I don't know, something like that or something ridiculous. Um, but you know, something along those lines. But yeah, I've been feeling kind of bad lately. Just not gonna lie about what's going down because, like I said, I a lot of the people I work with really do work their tail off. I'm not just saying that to butter bread. They wouldn't even know anyway because they don't watch my show. Hopefully, they don't know my show exists. I hope they don't, but if they do, oh well. The thing is, like, I know that everybody on my team puts out their best effort. At least they try, you know. And like I said, we're a small team. Like, why cut back on two people? I know that cutting back on two people, even if they're the lowest performers, we still need them for coverage at the very bare minimum. And I think they all did high quality work, so it's like, bums me out. But anyway, enough of that. Enough of that work talk. All I know is I just got to focus on what I'm doing. Come into work every day. Be a total sav. And see what happens. Get paid my $18 an hour. Which is kind of weak, but that's okay. I like the fact that I'm getting paid. It pays whatever I need to pay. I'm swing trading my way towards more money, so fuck yeah. All right, but I want to thank you guys again for viewing the channel. I'm a lucky dude. I got a lot of good people in my life, and I hope I can be a good person in your guys' life. I really do. Don't know how there I am yet, but I can always be better. I believe that in a good way. I could always be better, and I'm fine admitting that. Anyway, catch y'all later. And as my boy would say, I'm Nick Cage.